Hey everyone, Charlene Ortiz here. Today I wanted to talk about a documentary that I saw the other day on Amazon Prime called Fat-topia. It was released, I think, in early August, so I don't know how many people have heard about it yet. Um, but anyway, so I watched it a couple days ago, and I just want to talk about, my thoughts about the documentary, how I felt about it. It's basically a documentary done by a young man that was curious about the fat acceptance movement, and that it's the focus of the documentary. To some degree, he kind of talks about how it started, but mostly just focuses on the people that are part of the fat acceptance movement, why people or especially in recent years, have seemed to gravitate towards the fat acceptance movement, and just to see what it was all about. And he interviewed several people that were a part of it, and just kind of dug a little bit into the movement, and featured certain people like Tess Holliday. Was obviously probably the biggest advocate of the fat acceptance movement. So I just want to talk about my feelings about the documentary, my feelings about the fat acceptance movement, and also my feelings about fat shaming and how I feel about it, and how I think it has contributed to the fat acceptance movement, and why I to some degree can understand why some people have decided to be a part of that movement in particular. So for those of you that don't know me, I've been a personal trainer for 20 years, and I've specialized in helping people with disabilities and a lot of limitations. I was kind of inspired and motivated to work with that population because of my own chronic illnesses and limitations and challenges that I deal with. Well, either way, in that demographic includes people that are morbidly obese, even some to the point that they have been bedridden, and they were incredibly limited in what they were able to do, and needed to start, very slow at an extremely moderate and low level of activity. And so the past 20 years, I've worked with a lot of obese and morbidly obese people. So I certainly can say to a certain degree that I understand, some of the struggles that they go through. I understand why some people struggle with obesity, and I understand how challenging it is, to make the necessary changes in order to get to a healthy weight and maintain a healthy lifestyle. And as well as fighting things like food addiction, and how daily life can be incredibly hectic, and how it can be really hard to maintain a healthy lifestyle when you have a lot of other things in your life that you can barely keep up with. So I can definitely honestly say that I do understand the struggle that a lot of obese people deal with when it comes to maintaining their health. For me, one reason I feel so strongly about the fat acceptance movement is because I personally have seen the devastation caused by a lifetime of obesity, the physical and emotional devastation. And I did do a couple of videos on the body positivity fat acceptance movement. I'll put a link in the description below to those videos if you care to watch them. But I definitely have very strong feelings about fat acceptance. And the documentary, I thought the documentary was done pretty well. I think it's no question that he is not someone that supports the fat acceptance movement. I don't think that he was disrespectful, to anybody in the documentary. He didn't make fun of people. He didn't fat shame people. At least I didn't feel like he did. I felt like he just sincerely wanted to know where people were coming from and was curious. But I definitely, he definitely wasn't someone that supported it. So obviously you can't talk about fat acceptance without mentioning Tess Holliday. And Tess Holliday is someone who I guess you can say has made history in the modeling industry. That never before has there been a morbidly obese woman that has been featured on the cover of a major magazine like Cosmopolitan. That's something that, as far as having plus-sized women in the modeling industry or on the cover of magazines, what have you, I certainly think it's wonderful to represent people of all different shapes, sizes, backgrounds, what have you. I do not think it's okay to promote morbid obesity and to promote someone like Tess Holliday, who doesn't really have any desire to change. Although I don't know, I know recently she did try to start an exercise program. I don't know how far. I don't really follow her that much. I noticed she was exercising. I know that she had put an Instagram post up recently, I saw on Every Damn Day Fitness's channel, that she was out hiking Runyon Canyon with her trainer. So I don't know, maybe she is, trying to make those changes. I surely hope so, because being that she is now a mom, of a young child, I really hope that she is taking her weight seriously, because if she is still embracing being morbidly obese and still having an attitude like I don't have to change, that I can still be healthy the way I am, I think that's absolutely shameful. To be a mother of a young child and have that type of an attitude when you have a child who is depending on you to be healthy, to be strong, and to be there for many, many, many years to come. And so when you're a mother, when you're a parent, your health is an even bigger responsibility, because you have somebody else who is depending on you to be there for them. But I'm not a fan of Tess Holliday. I think emotionally, she's very easily offended. Whenever she gets challenged on any of her Instagram posts or what have you, she's incredibly defensive. She always has very weak arguments. And I just don't see her as someone who's inspirational. I don't see her as someone who's strong or empowering. I see her as someone who's weak, and someone who has just given up, and someone who is now exploiting her obesity for financial gain, which I think is absolutely horrible. So that's my feelings on her. And there were a few parts of that documentary that definitely stuck with me. One of them was in a young woman, she was, obese, who was talking about the different challenges that she has to deal with every day being an obese woman. And the things that she brought up to me were just so insignificant, talking about how at her weight she could never go bungee jumping, that if she wanted to play laser tag, the vest wouldn't be able to go around her. Just, in my opinion, really ridiculous stuff like that. I'm not saying that those aren't fun things to do, and certainly people like to enjoy and engage in those activities. I personally have never been bungee jumping. I did used to skydive. I think the last time I went laser tag was when I was 19. I mean, again, these aren't some things that even as someone who's thin thinks about or really cares about. And so, but her point was that, we can't do a lot of activities that people that are of a normal size, a normal weight can do. So therefore, the world needs to accommodate people like us because we've made bad choices. And now we are obese because of it. We need to be accommodated for. And it was definitely a very entitled mentality. Even when she made the comment about the restaurants, going to a restaurant and being afraid of not fitting in the booth or in a chair. For me personally, I've been in a financial position so many times in my life that I wasn't able to visit a restaurant for over a year because I didn't have the money. And, to me, to complain about something like that is absolutely ludicrous. How about not being in a position where you don't even have the money to go to a restaurant, where you wouldn't even have the money to enjoy those types of activities? I've been in that position for a really long time. And I'm not, bitching and complaining about it for everybody to feel sorry for me. And there are plenty of people that live with disabilities every single day that the world is not it's not created for them. The world does not accommodate them. Like blind people and people that are disabled and paralyzed and have to live in wheelchairs, people that are deaf, people that are mute. There's, people every single day that have disabilities that are of no fault of their own. And there's absolutely nothing that they can do to change their situation. And they have had to learn to adapt to a world that accommodates people that can walk, people that can talk, see, hear. And certainly, a lot of businesses do make accommodations and modify, stairs or ramps or put elevators or what have you to accommodate people. But not every single place they go is going to have those types of accommodations for them, and they accept it. They understand that, the world is designed for the average individual, that doesn't have severe disabilities or what have you, and they accept it. Many of you know, if any of you that watch my channel know that I personally have fibromyalgia. I've been in several car accidents. I have had a portion of my digestive system removed, and I have a lot of limitations and deal with a lot of pain and chronic illness every single day that I will never be able to get rid of. Certainly I can try to do things to improve my situation and reduce my levels of pain, but I can never get rid of it. I cannot tell you how many times I have been in line at a grocery store and my legs are just starting to ache. And I so badly just want to sit down, because just standing there in that one spot for several minutes starts to become incredibly painful. I'm not expecting an employee to run up and put a chair behind me so I can sit down. I'm not expecting every grocery line to be lined with chairs, so someone like me can sit down at every point of the line because my legs are hurting me. I don't expect the world to accommodate me that way, because I understand it doesn't work like that. It sucks that I have to deal with it. I hate that I have to deal with it. But, I got to go to the grocery. I got to go to the store. And I got to stand in line sometimes. And I deal with it. And that's why, for me, it is really infuriating to hear somebody complain about something like that when there's something that they can do about it. And they are in the position that they're in because of the bad choices that they've made. Now, that being said, I definitely do have compassion and empathy for people that do suffer from obesity and struggle with their weight. And especially if it's something that they've struggled with their whole life. In my career, of working with obese people, I understand that a lot of them struggle with obesity for different reasons. Whether it's because of emotional trauma or abuse that they've endured at some point in their life, whether they're, a single mom of 3 children and they just don't have the time, to take care of themselves and to make, fresh, healthy meals, whether someone's developed a chronic illness and it's now become incredibly difficult for them to be active because it's painful, and they've gained weight as a result of it. There are a lot of different reasons why people gain weight. And that's why, again, in one sense, I do get really frustrated with the fat acceptance movement, but in another sense, I understand why people have gravitated to it. And I understand that it's not easy to just lose weight. Usually when it comes to weight loss, it goes a lot deeper than just changing your lifestyle habits. It goes a lot deeper than that. A lot of people suffer from food addiction, and there are reasons why they suffer from food addiction, just like any other addiction. Again, if they endured some type of incredible trauma throughout their life, or physical abuse or sexual abuse, what have you, especially as children, we find ways and outlets to deal with the pain. And some people go to food, some people go to drugs, some people go to anorexia. People go to different outlets that are often unhealthy to deal with trauma. Because when you're a child, you're not equipped to know how to deal with those things. And so instead, you just try to find something to make it better. And so over the years, I've dealt with a lot of people that had very, very deep-seated emotional challenges that caused them to be addicted to food, that caused them to overeat. And as a result, throughout their life, they have gotten fat shamed and made fun of, which has contributed even more to their obesity, because the pain of that type of bullying and abuse from people triggers them, to want to eat. So they're going to the thing that makes them feel better. And that's something that I can have a lot of compassion and empathy for. And I feel that one of the reasons that people go to the fat acceptance movement is because they've given up, and they got to a point where they just felt hopeless because they didn't know how to start an exercise program. They didn't know how to change their life. They didn't know how to make the changes that were necessary. Or they tried a bunch of fad diets, or they tried some type of an exercise program that wasn't for them, what have you, and they were unsuccessful, they failed. And so, they just kind of threw up their hands and said, hey, well, you know what? There's this group of people that will accept me the way I am, tell me that I'm beautiful, I'm perfect, that I don't need to change, and also convince me that there's not going to be any long-term consequences for the choices that I'm making. And that to me is very sad, and it's very tragic. And there are a lot of different components when it comes to the fat acceptance movement. It's not just black and white. It's not just, these are just, lazy, entitled people that don't want to lose weight, and they just want to be in denial about what the consequences will be long term and the damage that it will do. Certainly, to some degree, that does exist in the fat acceptance movement. But I think the fat acceptance movement is filled with a lot of people that are dealing with pain. They're dealing with emotional pain. And this has been a place of empowerment for them, and a place where they can finally get the encouragement, the love, and the support that has been lacking in their life, for, whatever different reasons. They haven't been able to find that anyplace else. And the fitness industry, in some ways, I do feel is guilty of neglecting morbidly obese people that have extreme limitations and can't do a lot of the traditional workouts and exercises that, the average person that wants to lose weight can do. They're limited, in their ability to fit in a lot of the machines at the gym. A lot of the classes that are offered, they're not able to do because they're too high intensity, or they simply just might feel embarrassed, and insecure and self-conscious about going to the gym. And they're really, and this is the main reason I started my channel, is because I wanted to provide a resource for people that are disabled and that suffer from morbid or obesity or any other type of limitations, where they have a place where they can start. Full workouts that they can do from home with simple equipment and with guidance, and instruction that will help them to do it properly, without injuring themselves. And that was the main reason I started this channel, because I had, the people that are in the fat acceptance movement, those are the people that I have in mind with this channel, is to give them a place to go, and to make them feel like, here's a channel, something that I can do that is for me. I can't stand for that long, so here's a full workout that I can do seated, I can't even sit for that long. So here's a workout that I can do laying down. I don't want to go to the gym. I feel self-conscious. So here's a workout I can do from home. And this is, the basic equipment that I can use, and still get a good workout. And eventually, as you make progress and get stronger, then you can go on to other things. Maybe even, eventually be able to go to the gym and feel more confident and participate, in the different classes and workouts, whatever that is offered at a gym facility. But I really, I really do, again, understand their mind frame and why they feel the need for that support. However, I do feel like a lot of it is just a lack of personal responsibility in wanting to make the necessary changes that they need to make so that they can get better, they can get stronger, so they can lose the weight. Because you cannot be obese and healthy. It doesn't exist. You can be strong. You can be fit to a certain degree. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that I have had obese clients that were, stronger even than the average person, and impressed me with the things that they were capable of. There's absolutely no question that I have had clients like that. However, a client that has the same, I guess, genetic gifts as another client, one that is 100 pounds overweight as opposed to one that is 40 pounds overweight, if they both have the same genetic ability, to perform certain exercises and activities, the one that is only 40 pounds overweight is obviously going to be able to do it better, more efficiently, less likely to injure themselves, and that's just, that's just the reality of it. You cannot be overweight and be healthy. I would say probably the cutoff would be 30 pounds. Maybe you could be 30 pounds overweight and still be considered healthy, and maybe even go on to live a long life. But you cannot be morbidly obese or 50 plus pounds overweight and still be healthy and expect that you're going to live a long life without any type of complications, even if you do try to exercise and you do try to live a healthy lifestyle, because there are other complications that are going to come from carrying around that excess weight. Not just the subcutaneous fat under your skin, but also the internal fat that is surrounding your organs. There is a really great documentary, I forget the name of it. I should have looked it up before I did this video, but you could find it with these keywords. It's an autopsy of an obese person, and I think it's done in the UK because they have that British accent. But if you like Google autopsy of obese person documentary or whatever, I'm sure you'll find it. And they basically, do an autopsy and they dissect this individual that has passed away, and they had full permission to do it, and they do conceal the face of the individual. It's very graphic. It is a full dissection. So if you're someone who's squeamish with things like that, it might not be a good watch for you. But they do show all the damage that has been done to her organs, as a result of being obese for, much of her life. And so, so again, there's absolutely, it's completely against science that you can be obese and healthy. Now, another thing that really irks me about people that refuse to change but yet complain about how the world doesn't accommodate them is that I have worked with so many people that deal with real valid disabilities, chronic illnesses, and limitations, that there's absolutely nothing that they can do about it. And I have seen them push through so much pain and put the necessary sacrifice and discipline into doing what they need to do to improve their situation to the best of their ability, even though exercising and eating healthy is not going to cure fibromyalgia or MS or lupus or any other myriad of chronic illnesses people deal with. It can certainly help to improve your condition. And I have worked with so many people that had to push through tremendous amounts of pain to improve their situation. And they deal with real challenges every single day in the normal world. With how I mentioned for myself, standing in the grocery line and my legs will start to hurt. I'm not the only one that deals with that. There are millions of other people around the U.S. and around the world that also deal with that same issue, but they don't show it. They hide it, and that's another reason why I get so indignant about the fat acceptance movement, is because you are destroying a body that is healthy and otherwise doesn't have any other illnesses or chronic pain, and you are destroying it. And there are people out there that would give anything to have a body that is not plagued with the condition that they suffer from, and they would take good care of it. And that's one thing that really does frustrate me, and it makes me angry, because you don't have to be obese. You can make a choice, to start making better decisions and getting healthier and losing the weight. Again, I understand it's not easy. I understand it's not as easy as, put that donut down, stop eating that donut. It's not that simple. And I do get frustrated with YouTubers when they make those kind of comments. Just put the donut down. It's not that simple. For a lot of people, it goes a lot deeper than that. And that's one reason that fat shaming really infuriates me too, because again, there was one point in the documentary where Whitney Way Thor is speaking, and I'm not a fan of her. I don't support her. I think she's a very entitled, ignorant individual. However, I did agree with what she said in this portion of the documentary where she talked about how you don't know when you see someone in public, who is obese. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know if they just lost 100 pounds. You don't know if they just lost a loved one. You don't know what kind of struggles they're dealing with every day. And you really just don't know. I had a woman that came into a consult one time, and she had gained 75 pounds over the past year, or 7 or 8 months, because she lost her son in a car accident. And he was only 21 years old. So as a result of the incredible depression that she dealt with, she went to food for comfort and gained 75 pounds. And she was already, somewhat overweight before he died. She did struggle with her weight somewhat, but now she was like, morbidly obese. And I can't imagine her being out in public and some lowlife making some type of disrespectful, derogatory, hurtful comment to her simply because of her weight when he knows nothing else about her. And she's dealing with the loss of her son. Or even a client that I've worked with that was 400 pounds and lost 100 pounds throughout our training. And they're feeling great. They're feeling amazing. They're feeling accomplished. And, they go out in public, and some asshole has to say something about their weight, make fun of them, call them a fat pig or a fat cow or what have you, and not knowing how hard this person is working to make the right choices now. And that is one reason that fat shaming absolutely infuriates me, especially when it's like someone you don't know, when you're out in public and you see someone who's obese and you decide to laugh at them or make some type of snide remark. And you have absolutely no idea who that person is, what they're going through, why they're overweight. You have no clue. And for me personally, like I'm definitely somebody that I'm a confrontational person. I do have a big mouth. Anybody that knows me well knows that I do have a big mouth. And if somebody is disrespectful to me in public and they say something to me that I feel is inappropriate or rude or does something, I will speak up and I will say something like, hey, that was rude, that was disrespectful, what have you. And if I get into an altercation with somebody and they're obese, I don't feel the need to attack their obesity, because that has nothing to do with what they did. Whatever they did to piss me off, whether it was cut me off in line or whatever, took my parking spot in the parking lot, whatever it is, that has nothing to do with their obesity. And I don't feel the need to attack them, to attack how they look, even though I'm angry with them, even though they did something that was rude and disrespectful to me, because I understand how damaging that is. Instead, I just addressed what they did was rude and disrespectful, and don't do that to people, whatever it is. But regardless, that there are people that feel that, oh, it's justified because they have control over it, and they can decide to lose the weight, so that's why I'm making fun of them, and that's why it's okay. No, it's not okay. Because again, you don't know what their struggles are, you don't know what they're going through, and that's just in general, in life. So that was one thing that she said that I do agree with. Now, when it comes to people like Amber Lynn, Chantel, Tess Holliday, I don't have as much compassion, because they put it out there. They put their obesity out there, especially someone like Amber Lynn, who is the ultimate troll, the ultimate, weight loss troll. And she has lied. She has lied to herself. She's lied to her audience. She's made horrible choices. She does it on camera. She's slandered people, so she's someone that I don't have as much compassion for, because we see that she is not someone of a noble character and just not a likable person. Same with Chantal. Same with Tess Holliday. She's just not a likable person. Everybody remembers that t-shirt scam that she did that was supposed to be for battered women. I don't even know whatever happened with that personally. But also, when people challenge her on Instagram, even if they're trying to do it in a gentle way, and just kind of explaining to her, look, you got to take care of yourself. You're a mom now, whatever. She'll say, fuck off. Like that's her response. So, to me, it's more about their character and who they are as people. But because they are not good people and they have such a horrible character, their weight is going to be a huge target. And they also exploit their obesity to make money. People like Tess Holliday and anybody else that has a huge influence and promotes fat acceptance. I don't put like Amber Lynn or Chantel in that category, because I wouldn't say they promote it. They're more like in denial, but they don't really promote being obese. That's my opinion. I don't see that, because they do videos where they're trying to lose weight or whatever, but I don't feel that they're like, oh, you can be obese and it's okay, there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think that they're delusional about their own obesity and the impact it'll have. But I don't see them in the same categories like Tess Holliday. But people like Tess Holliday, Whitney Way Thor, and there's other people that I know that have huge followings and a big influence on social media that promote it, and that basically say, you can be healthy, you can be fat, you don't have to change anything. To me, they are equivalent to a drug dealer, because they are doing the same thing a drug dealer does. A drug dealer promotes something that is unhealthy and that will destroy your life, destroy your quality of life, as well as hurting the people around you while you're at it, and will also cause an early death. That will most likely be horrible. At least, a drug addiction, when someone dies, they overdose, and it's usually painless, so with obesity, it's not. You will die a slower, more painful death, because you will develop some type of condition or have a heart attack or a stroke or something that will be very painful. So that's even worse than dying of an overdose. Either one is absolutely horrible or tragic. But to me, they're on the same level as a drug addict, because you're promoting something that is absolutely going to devastate somebody's life and the people around them that love them. And you're doing it for financial gain. And to me, that is absolutely disgusting. And again, I have very strong feelings about it, because I personally have seen the devastation and the damage caused by obesity. And not only how it has destroyed the lives of the people that were obese, but also how it has destroyed the lives of the people around them. That have watched them get sick, that have watched them have a heart attack or a stroke. Just like, my client Tom that I did a video on. My client Tom, who had a stroke, and his whole family was affected by it. And so it doesn't just impact you, it also impacts the people around you that love you. So anyway, those are just, my thoughts on the documentary and how I feel about fat acceptance and fat shaming, and why, and I do understand, why people tend to gravitate towards the fat acceptance movement. And another thing I did want to add, as far as the mindset of people in the fat acceptance movement, is that, especially nowadays, outlets like Instagram have made it so that people are starting to feel more insecure about their own bodies and what they look like, because so many girls are going on Instagram, photoshopping and filtering their pictures, and people are thinking that I need to look like that, I need to be that way, especially if you're a young girl that is impressionable. Because when I was young and I used to flip through magazines, I would look at these women that were perfect and beautiful and just ridiculously thin, and I felt like that's what I should look like, that's what I should be, because it's in a magazine, right? Like they're representing these clothes or what have you. This is what a society sees as beautiful and perfect, and that's what I want to be too. I had that mindset when I was a young girl, and I know when a lot of these young impressionable girls see these women on Instagram with ridiculously firm round butts, ridiculously perfect breasts and tiny little waist or what have you, they feel like, why can't I look like that? When in reality, the girl in the picture doesn't even look like that. And I understand the frustration of women that struggle with their weight, or they don't look like that. They don't have that shape. They don't have that structure on their body. And they just see all these pictures of these women that are just unbelievably perfect, and it's annoying. It's annoying for me to look at, and to see that I know these women don't look like that. And I think it's absolutely deceptive and disgusting that they try to portray that they look this way, when it's going to have such a negative impact on young girls or women that struggle with their weight, thinking that this is real, this is normal, and if I don't look like this, I don't have any worth or value. But they've been doing it for decades on the cover of magazines. There's no doubt that it's been photoshopped and the pictures have been cleaned up, and over the years, that stick thin figure and structure was something that was admired and seen as beautiful. And I understand why women have decided that they want to rebel against that. Unfortunately, though, a lot of women have gone the extreme opposite of the spectrum, as opposed to saying, as opposed to rejecting that and saying that's not healthy, that's not normal, and saying, I'm going to be as healthy as I can be, even if I'm not a size 2 or even a size 6. I'm going to be as healthy as I can be, and if that's a size 10, then that's fantastic. Instead, they're going the opposite extreme, saying I can be obese, I can be unhealthy, and it's okay, because what they're doing here is wrong. Like two wrongs don't make a right. Even though this extreme thinness, is unhealthy and shouldn't be promoted, neither should extreme obesity. There is a healthy medium that we can have. I absolutely love women that embrace their beauty and love to dress up and do their makeup and their hair and wear beautiful clothes, even if they are 400 pounds. Like I that is something that I absolutely love and I support. But there is a difference between embracing your beauty and feeling beautiful because you're obese, as opposed to embracing your obesity, embracing your beauty despite the fact that you're obese. You can be obese and still feel beautiful and still make that effort, and still feel sexy. I think that's a wonderful thing. I think that's a very empowering thing. But to be in denial and say, this is beautiful and I don't have to change, that I don't agree with. And when I am working with my clients, I always tell them that they need to embrace their beauty now. I always tell them, don't wait to lose weight to feel beautiful. Find things about yourself that you love now. Buy cute clothes that you love to wear now. Don't wait to reach your weight loss goals, to embrace that part of you. But at the same time, don't be in denial that just because you have a pretty dress on and your hair and makeup are done nicely, and you do look great, even if you're 400 pounds, but you do look great, you look beautiful, you know, but because of that, you know, you're okay, like you're healthy and you don't have to change anything, like that. Again, that's the extreme that a lot of these women go to, which is what's ultimately going to kill them. And that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't think fat acceptance is something that is ever going to be accepted by society as a whole. I think it will always be a very small demographic of people that will decide to participate in it. And it is something that should not be encouraged. It should not be accepted. What should be accepted is living in a strong, healthy body. What should be accepted is loving who you are and feeling worth and value in yourself, despite what weight you are, what race you are, how much money you have, whether you have scars, how tall you are, you know, whatever. I think that is something that should be accepted, is just embracing your value as a person no matter what. But it should not be accepted to live in a fantasy world, in a delusion where being obese and morbidly obese is not going to have long-term consequences, and that if you have something to say about it, you're fat shaming. If your doctor is telling you need to lose weight, he's fat shaming. If your doctor calls you a fat pig, sure, yeah, that's disrespectful, that's fat shaming. But if your doctor simply says, look, I'm concerned about your weight, I'm concerned that you're going to develop these health challenges in the future, that's a good doctor. You want to hold on to that doctor. That's a doctor that cares about you. So I did want to, before I end this video, I did want to encourage everyone who was watching this to check out a YouTuber named Charlie Gold. I know a lot of times people that are a part of the fat acceptance movement see people like me or the guy that did the documentary that did Fatopia. They see us as, oh, well, you're thin, or you're a cis white male, or whatever, and they'll say, you know, what do you know about this? You know, you have no right to say anything. You don't know what this is like. You've never had to deal with the challenges I've dealt with. But Charlie Gold is a YouTuber who has struggled with her weight her whole life. She is someone that dealt with severe abuse as a child. And she talks about this, you know, in a video. So she has made this information public, which is why I'm comfortable saying it. But she is someone that has lost a significant amount of weight, and she's still working to lose more and be healthier. And she has an amazing channel. It's incredibly inspiring. It's incredibly motivating. She is so raw and honest and intelligent and beautiful and insightful and just amazing in every single way. And she's been such an inspiration to me and so many others. Her channel is just exploding and taking off. But she did a video recently that was absolutely heartbreaking, but also inspiring, where she talks, I think it's titled, I'm going to put a link in the description below. Charlie Gold. I'm going to put a link to her video in the description. And it's titled The Dark Side of Obesity. I think that's what it's titled. And it is so powerful. And for any of you, even if you're not, you know, somebody who embraces the fat acceptance, but if any of you are struggling with your weight right now, if you're feeling discouraged, or you're trying to understand the struggles of people that suffer, that deal with obesity, you have to watch that video. I mean, it's incredibly powerful. And it just, it really stuck with me after I watched it. And I wish every single person that struggles with their weight would watch that video. But like I said, everything about her is just beautiful and amazing and inspiring. And she's just the type of friend that you want to have, you know, to be there when you need someone at 2 a.m. She's just that type of friend, that type of person. So definitely go check her out. So, all right, guys. Well, those are my thoughts, you know, on the documentary and the whole fat acceptance movement. Remember, for those of you that, have given up because you don't know where to start or you feel overwhelmed, that's what my channel is about. Reach out to me. I have my my Instagram, my Facebook, my email in the description below, where you can send me a message if you do need help, encouragement, any type of guidance. I would be more than happy to help anybody achieve whatever health and fitness goals they have. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I've dedicated my life to. And also remember, I am doing a giveaway when I reach 1,000 subscribers, because I want to do live stream workouts with my viewers, again, to motivate you and to be able to be there for you at that capacity. But something I'd like to do is live stream workouts with you guys. But I can't do that until I get to 1,000 subscribers because I have to do it on my phone. And I am doing a giveaway. So my last video, you can check that out. The set of tubing that I'm giving away. It's a really nice set of tubing. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to my ramblings and just my insight, on all these topics. And remember, take care of yourself, protect yourself physically and emotionally, and don't forget, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it. Bye-bye.